Please help me welcome Alfonso Cuadra.
Madam Toastmaster, guests, and fellow Toastmasters. Before we get started, I know you guys have a lot of pieces of paper in front of you, but can you just get a fresh piece of paper? Because you're going to be writing something down. Fresh piece of paper. So the very first item you're going to write down is going to be something good you've done in the past. Could have been on the way here, could have been 5 years ago, a good deed you've done. And by the way, this is a private, you're not going to have to read this out loud or anything like that, so don't worry. If you don't look at your neighbors, I mean, this is it's a private matter. But really think about the last good deed you've done. Maybe you donated, maybe you volunteered your time, maybe you gave some change to a homeless person on the street, perhaps. And number two is going to be the next good deed you plan to do. So you plan to donate some clothes, maybe you plan to donate to a certain charity, and it could be in 20 years from now. If you have a plan in 20 years or something to do, it could be 20 years from now. So something you've done and something you plan to do. Now you're going to leave 2 more spaces, and we're going to talk about those later. But in the spirit of Christmas, I thought this would be a great subject to talk about. A new way of giving. Now to get clear on my objectives here today, it's not to change what you've been doing in the past. It's not to, you probably, you donate to your favorite charities, you do your giving. My objective here today is to inspire you, perhaps, into finding a new way of giving. A new way that I've discovered in my 35 years on earth. I know to some of you, maybe that's not a long time. But to my daughter, she thinks I'm ancient.
That never changes.
So, I've talked about it in many other speeches before, that I've traveled to China many times as a result of my business. And in 2005, I actually started my import-export business. And by the time it was 2009, I had gone to China, actually in that year, about 11 times. But this story starts the very first time I ever went to China. I landed in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is pretty advanced. It's like Japan. It's not like mainland China at all. So by the time we actually got to mainland China, it was nighttime. And I didn't really see outside, I just went directly into my hotel. The next day, as I'm leaving my hotel, I see this lady, probably where that snowman is right there, and she's standing beside a garbage pail. And she's holding a baby. So as I'm walking by her, she reaches into the garbage can, grabs garbage, and starts feeding her baby garbage. Is this serious? I'm like, oh my goodness, please. I looked in my pockets, I'm like, please take all this money, please, please. Go feed your baby for the love of God. It's incredible. The next day, I come downstairs, and she's doing the same thing. Can you believe it? She's feeding her baby garbage. Literally, she's going into the garbage can, coming up with garbage, and feeding her baby garbage. I'm just, here, take all this money, please, just go do something. There's obviously a language barrier there. She's like, ni hama, salala. So she didn't understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying, get off the streets, take whatever you can, just feed your baby or do something. So I'm obviously there for business, and I've met a lot of people on my trip and a lot of factory owners, but I met this factory manager, and he says, I want to take you out, show you what China's about. So I said, okay, why don't you meet me at my hotel? So he meets me at my hotel, and we were going out together. And his name is Alan, by the way. That's his Chinese name. I said, Alan, you won't believe this lady. She's feeding her baby garbage. this is like appalling. He's like, don't give her any money. I said, what do you mean don't give her any money? He said, that's a business. I said, what do you mean? He said, every morning, she cooks a fresh pot of rice. She puts it in a bag with a slit on top, and she places it strategically in the garbage can, so only when a foreigner comes, because Chinese people are not that gullible, only when a foreigner comes, she'll dig in the garbage can strategically where she knows she left a fresh pot of rice, and she'll feed her baby that rice, clean rice. And it's just pulling on your, she's cleaning up. And I'm watching her, all these foreigners, everybody did the same thing I did. They gave her a lot of money because it's like, oh my God, I've never seen someone feed their baby garbage. It's actually a pretty good strategy if you ask me from her perspective. Wow. But I started to question my reason for giving that day. Did I give out of guilt? Did I give because I felt a responsibility to give? Because I'm Canadian? Why do we give sometimes? Did I give because she scared me? Did I want to save up the baby? Why did I give? Fast forward a couple months later, I'm in Canada, and I'm standing at Tim Hortons, and I'm always well dressed. I like to think so, anyways. But I'm always clean. I'm a clean guy. It doesn't look like I'm needy or I need anything. I'm holding a $20 bill in my hand. And I'm standing at the lineup, and I ordered a large coffee, $1.80. And I'm just looking for change. And my discomfort was, I didn't want to walk away with all these change. I didn't want to break my 20. That was my discomfort. My discomfort was not that I didn't have the money, was I clearly had the $20 bill in my hand. I just didn't want the discomfort of having all this change. The guy behind me pays my coffee. I said, no, sir, you don't understand. I have the money, you see, I don't need it. I clearly have the money. He said, no, it's not me, don't worry. As I'm leaving that place with my coffee and my $20 bill, I started thinking, wow, what a great new way of giving. You see, I've always considered myself to be a very generous person. I give to the needy. I give, to charity. I give clothes that I don't need. Sometimes I'll go and help someone in need. But that day I learned a very important lesson. Give to those that don't need it. Give to those that don't need it, because the impact, that gentleman, it's only a cup of coffee, but the impact that it had on me, I was inspired to give to somebody else that didn't need it. So my new way of giving is to give to others that don't need it. Maybe pick someone's tab at the bar. Maybe sometimes I'll pay if it's not too much, I'll pay the person behind me at the Tim Hortons drive-thru. The person behind me says like $5, okay, I'll pay it. I'll never see that person again. They'll never see who it was, right? A new way of giving. The feeling that you get from giving to somebody that doesn't need it, and to see the shock on their face, is priceless. I often like to donate clothes that I don't wear anymore. Does anybody do that? Raise your hand if you donated before. What about furniture? Have you donated furniture before? Have you done that? Furniture, yeah, that you don't need, right? And I love doing this. I was in Cuba, and of course, like I said before, I'm very fashionable. I'm always wearing nice clothes, and I have two types of clothes when I go on vacation. I have the beach bum clothes, and I have the night wear, which is usually nicer clothes that I like to wear at night, dinner and dancing and things like that. So I'm in Cuba, and the people, they're nice shorts, nice hat, nice sunglasses. I said, don't worry, I'm going to leave you a little something before I go. So before we're leaving, I told my wife, listen, we gotta get something ready for the Cubans, So we're putting together, these shorts I don't wear anymore, these shoes I don't wear anymore. And I told my wife, I said, well, why don't you give them your shoes, those shoes? She's like, oh no, I like those. And it occurred to me, are we just giving these people our garbage? I really started to think about what I'm giving there. And, you know, does anybody have something in their closet that they love to wear? Something that you know it fits you nice, you spend a lot of money on it. Do you have something like that in your closet? Okay, something that is beautiful. You wouldn't even lend it to anybody. Before I left on that trip, before I left Cuba, on that trip, I gave him everything. I gave him things that really had value to me, clothes that really had value to me. So the new way of giving is not only give things that you don't need, but give things that has value to you. The difference and the feeling behind that, it's going to be incredible. I was in Dominican about 2 years ago, and I was wearing a Guess watch. Guess, well, it's not like a high brand, but it's about a $200 watch. I love this watch. Looks good on me, had a leather strap, metal, mwah, forgot about it. Beautiful watch. And I'm at the bar, and the guy and the bartender was, oh, really nice watch. And he was a really nice gentleman throughout the trip. I was giving him some tips, but nothing outrageous. And before the trip was over, I gave him my watch. Give something that has value to you, the feeling of giving changes. The feeling of giving changes when you give something that has true value to you. Because then you're sharing a little bit of yourself with somebody. Now again, this is not to get you to change whatever you were doing before. This is only to get you to adapt to new ways of giving. Give to someone that doesn't need it. Give something that has value to you. Now you guys you had that piece of paper? Okay, so on that piece of paper, number 3 is going to be your plan on giving something to somebody that doesn't need it. If you're done writing, if you're ready, say I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, number 4 is going to be, you're going to give something that has value to you. You see, if you share a little bit of yourself with others, now you're making a difference. You know, like I said, I've given out of guilt too. And that's a normal thing to do. I mean, we see these commercials on television with the kids with the flies on them, and they don't even swat the flies away. I mean, that will get anybody to pick up a phone. But imagine what society would be like if we would just give, for just giving, because we're just human. We're just living in society, sharing a little bit of yourself to someone you don't know. I'm the type of person, you know, when I travel to other countries, or, you know, I do business in other places, I love sitting with really old people. Not because they're going to sleep the whole flight, because I really am genuinely interested in other people, and I like to ask questions. And I always, and these older people have played the game I'm trying to play, right? So for me, the spirit of giving, and since it's Christmas, I hope that today I've inspired you to go beyond what you were planning to do, what you've done before, you plan to do, and maybe pay someone's Tim Hortons bill at the drive-thru. I don't know, surprise yourself. And maybe give something that has value to me. For example, if you guys have $20 right now, I will take $20. No, I'm just kidding. So I hope I've inspired you here today And again, I'm not trying to change you what you were doing before. Just add these 2 new items to your giving this Christmas. Happy holidays.